Welcome to our sports debate section in the Breakfast News. Today we have with us Mioara-Alina Stancu.
Good morning.
And Jan-Willem Pijnenburg.
Good morning.
She's a sports journalist and he's an ex-football player. After some facts in the sports world, some articles published in the press and some punctual news about the cultureless of some footballers, today we want to discuss if nowadays is there a really lack of culture in the sports world. But before we have here our journalist Xavier Freixa, who is going to introduce us the background of this topic.
Thanks, Elisenda. We read in an article of El País that Sporting Gijón soccer Javi Pobes was treated as he was due to his hobby of reading. The teammates of the central defender couldn't understand why he got some fun during the journeys to the matches reading Das Kapital of Karl Marx or Hitler's Mein Kampf. It is also well known the joke of the humor TV program Cracovia, in which the caricature of Lionel Messi, considered the best player of the world, is always asking, what is reading? And finally, we have to talk about the bad speech skills of some football players, such as Sergio Ramos of Real Madrid. Once, for example, he explained it in a press conference that in his childhood, he did not only play basket, but also basketball.
Knowing all this, we ask another time, is there a really lack of culture in the sports world, Jan-Willem?
I think there's more and more lack of culture in the sports world. People make excessive amounts of money and therefore care less about the culture that is football. The fact that there are jokes made about people like Lionel Messi that are the best players of the world and for instance
Javi
Pobes is joked about because he reads. I think this is a bad thing and this is a bad influence to the football in total.
I think that we in football we don't have a lack of culture because a lot of football players has a degree in law, in sports. So I think that all is about competitivity. Is because nowadays FC Barcelona and Real Madrid is a lot of competitivity here, so when they go out and they have to talk, they talk with, I don't know how to say it, with they are mad and they are furious, so they don't think what they learn.
Okay.
So we all know sports move a huge amount of money around the world. Media interest, timetable changes, thousands of companies getting benefits. In the football case, is that just 11 guys chasing a ball and driving expensive cars, or is there something else?
Yeah, continuing with the example of Pobes, the central defender of Sporting Gijón renounced to drive a vehicle provided by a commercial company to Sporting's first-team players because he had enough with his smart car. So he thought that in soccer it is all about money. In fact, everybody knows that the players have multimillionaire salaries that come from three ways. Firstly, tickets and food during the matches. Secondly, broadcasting rights. And finally, advertisements and merchandising. To finish, only remember that in Spain, the Real Madrid is the club with more incomes with 440 million euros. It is followed by Football Club Barcelona, which won almost 400 million in the last season.
So what do you think about this?
I think that there are two things to be said about the amount of money that has been made in football. For one, the amount of money has done great things for football, especially for people who can see it around the world nowadays instead of only in their own country. But football has gotten rotten and there has to be a roof in the salaries people make because we overextended ourselves. People are getting more and more money and clubs are getting more and more debt. And it's therefore, I say again, it's less about football and more about money.
But I disagree with you in this case because I don't think that because a lot of clubs, they don't have enough money to survive the club. So I think that nowadays, like Sevilla or Valencia, they don't have so much money from the TV rights or other things like commercial or advertising. So I think that another thing is that in this case the clubs who had money are FC Barcelona and Real Madrid here in Spain. So I don't think that this money they earn are from the football players. I think that this money is for the club.
So are football institutions rotten?
Perhaps one of the reasons of the rootedness of soccer is the changing of roles that the sport events and clubs made due to the influence of TV in the last 30s. There was a commodification, what is a commercialization, but in sport, TV adapted sports to the needs of the media, the length of the cricket matches, for example, and fomented the competitiveness. So clubs started increasing the income selling the rights of broadcast, thing that is still a great part of their fans, as we've said before, doing merchandising and hiring star players. So this is what we ask to our guests. Do you think football is rotten?
I think the institutions are rotten. I think they care more about making money than giving sport back to the people. Football players are now, because of the institutions, more about the money than the game itself. And the commercial basis of the institutions makes them rotten from the inside. So I agree with the things said about other clubs still having culture, but the bigger clubs overshadow the little clubs by spending too much money on everything.
In this case, I agree with you that institutions earn a lot of money and that's true, but let's see. Here we don't talk only about the big clubs. We talk about the little clubs too. So let's see. In little clubs they don't have much money. So with that money that they have to play. They have to pay commercial advertising and all this. So I think that in this case we have to think in the little clubs too, because the big clubs nowadays we know that they earn a lot of money, but the big one, the little one, what happened with them?
And now that we are talking about big and little clubs, do you think that Football Club Barcelona, the football section, is overshadowing other sports in its club and outside this one?
This is a good question because all of us were surprised last year when we heard that Barca's football team overshadowed other disciplines like athletics. Indeed, as said a mythic trainer of the club, Xesco Espart, in handball they have always had less resources and funds than other specialities. In the other hand, you only have to watch Televisió de Catalunya or Esport 3 to notice that all the rights related to Football Club Barcelona are more noticeable than whatever Espanyol could do. And remember that Espanyol is also a football club of Catalonia.
So, what do you think about this thing about Football Club Barcelona overshadowing the other sports?
I think that's partially true. I think that they have a lot of money and resources to start a new piece of sport like handball or basketball or something else. But this is also part of the problem because they throw a lot of money at it. They can buy the best players and, for instance, in basketball, be the best in the game. So this has contributed as well as ruined the sport a little. But it also has overshadowed a lot of sports and other football clubs.
Let's see. In this case, maybe I agree and I disagree because FC Barcelona can overshadowing other sports with that you said about they have money to buy a good player, football players. But I think that nowadays the basketball of FC Barcelona is very important, the handball too. And the other teams that are out of FC Barcelona are very popular too.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's true also. But still, the bigger the football club Barcelona and, for instance, Real Madrid gets, the more depth they generate, and it will be less possible for them to promote a sport in a good way if they have a lot of depth. So I think that's still a big problem.
And talking about the importance of football over the other sports, Xavi, what's going on in the networks?
Well, let me take a look to our Facebook. During the face-to-face, there have been loads of commentaries, we have to say, and as the one of Sylvia from Barcelona, who thinks the sport is completely rotten, and remembers us the parties of Joan Laporta, the ex-president of Football Club Barcelona, where there was some scandals. Moreover, Ramonet from Vic tells us he's absolutely agree with Barça overshadowing Espanyol and other sports. I don't know why we understand football like something different of culture, comments Mario from Calella. Finally, Susana from Lleida, congratulates us for our program.
Okay, so thank you to our guests for being here. And also thank you to Xavi and our sound technician, Maria Antònia Salvà. See you the next week.